Well, here we are. Just wanted to kind of talk about what's been going on with my Corsair build. I've been moving along with this build pretty well until the other day. I had a little bit of a setback, for lack of a better word. I pretty much have all my parts on the trees until I actually need them. And of course, when it came time for a particular part, I went to the parts tree, looked at the number, and the part was not there. I do know it was there a few days ago, but apparently it grew some legs and walked off the tree. But the part that I'm referring to basically is the propeller shaft, because I was all set and ready to go to attach the propeller to the aircraft and was looking for the propeller shaft, and lo and behold, the part was missing. So after thinking about it, I went ahead and kind of scratch built another propeller shaft using some of the leftover sprues that I had, and this is kind of like what I came up with. Let me show you. This was my first take. Let me see if I can bring that up. Of trying to make a scratch build of a propeller shaft to modify it. Of course, this is my first attempt. Actually, let me see if I come over here a little bit. But actually, I cut this part of the sprue a little bit too short, so I had to make another piece. But this was the kind of general idea I was going with, where it would slide in from behind, but the propeller right here. So let me show you what I did with the actual part itself. As you can see back here, here's the T shape that I used, which I actually sanded and filed down so that it would fit in through the hole and come out the other end. And this time, of course, I glued it to the propeller itself. They tell you to leave the part that goes into the hole, do not cement, so that you can have some sort of attempt to spin the wheel, or sorry, propeller. So anyways, you can see with some effort, and you see how it kind of rotates. So this is my version of the propeller shaft, so I can move on with this build. But I just kind of want to show you what I did up to this point. So there you go. Alright, stay tuned. More to come. And we're back. And as you can see, I done quite a bit of work on the Corsair up to this point for this episode. So without further ado, let's go over and talk about what I've been doing up to this point. So as you can see, I've actually went ahead and sprayed the sea blue, which was the I believe the Tamiya X-17, XF-17 I should say. And yeah, so I went ahead and sprayed the entire plane down with that, layer by layer, with my airbrush, to get a nice even coat all the way around. And I'll go ahead and turn this 360 while we're talking. So once I got that done and let that sit overnight, I basically went ahead and the next day and started doing some chipping work. I don't know if the camera can pick this up or not, but I've actually kind of chipped away around the entire plane with some very minute little scratches using a number 11 blade, and some actually filed down with some I think it was like 12,000 pads just to kind of rough it up a little bit. Let's see if we can bring it a little bit closer here for you. If you notice some of the areas where I actually scratched back some of the base paint, you know, some yellow. If you recall, these planes were primed in yellow before they applied the top coat of the sea blue on it. I tried, like I said, chipping away, and I'm still learning, but I got down and I guess I bypassed the yellow and went right down to the silver. So what you see here in reality is I went back with the yellow green Tamiya, and which was the XF-4, and I kind of stippled that color on where I exposed it down to the chrome steel, just to give it a look of distress on the wings. So that's what I'm doing right now. Like I said, I'm still learning and practicing, and hopefully I'll get it right. Kind of a notation is, when you saw the last video with the yellow and the panel lines that I did, I actually forgot to spray. So I was going to try a hairspray technique that I kind of learned from Martin over at International British Modelers, and unfortunately I missed that one particular step. So maybe that was the reason why I couldn't bring up the yellow underneath the top coat. But regardless, we did an alternative route, and this is where we are. So moving on, once I get out all the chipping done, I did also put some of the anti-slip on the either side of the wings, and of course, you know, then I just went ahead and chipped everything and got it ready to go. So once that all was all done, I went ahead and sealed it with some Future to get it ready for the decal work. Once that was done, I basically started with the decals on the back. And just another side note, in the instructions, you know, they give you, you know, a couple options for decals what you want. And I did the VMF-214 for the Black Sheep Squadron. But like I said, in the instructions, they actually have one of the decals numbers duplicated. So anyways, I figured it out and got the right decals on there to for this particular style, which was the Black Sheep Squadron. So anyways, the way I do my decal work is I first of all have a toothpick, pair of tweezers, and I get two sets of brushes, one for the big decals and then one for the real small decals. And then I also in my supplies is I use the micro set and the micro salt, because that's basically all I have here, so that's what I use. So each of the steps that I do basically is I basically prep the area that I'm going to put the decal on. Let's say, for example, we'll bring this back in here for a second, get a closer look. The first decal I put on there was the WE on the tail. And what I did basically was take the brush, dip it in with the micro set, get it all wetted down, and then of course I had the WE cut out. Went ahead and dipped that in the water for a few seconds, let it loosen up from the paper backing, came up here, and then I basically took the tweezers and the toothpick and basically just held down on the toothpick and just, you know, pulled the backing out and put it in place. So
that's my procedure. Once I get that all patted down, dried, then I go back with the microsaw with the brush and brush it on there so that it would conform to any of the panel lines and whatnot to conform to the plane itself. And that's my step. So as far as microset first, and then the microsaw afterwards, and now that's set overnight. So basically, like I said, I'm kind of getting long-winded here, but I start on the back with the WE, and then I started on the side, the starboard side, and went ahead with the Marines, VMF 214, then with the Stars and Stripes, then the 24, and then the Black Sheep Squadron emblem with the bombs. Once that was all done, I went over to the other side on the port side, and we'll kind of get this back in here for you, and repeated the process only in reverse, as far as, because you're on the other side now, but I went ahead still with the back of the tail first with the WE, the Marines, Stars and Stripes, and then the numbers here. Once both of those sides were done, I went ahead and started on the underside of the plane. I'll flip this over here. So we got the Stars and Stripes on this side of the plane wing, and then we went ahead and put it on the Marines on the opposite wing. Once that was done, I basically went ahead and on the top of the wings put another set of Stars and Stripes on the port side, and then starboard side I went ahead and did the last set of decals on there. So like I say, right now I'm just going to let this kind of set overnight so that it has a chance to cure, and come tomorrow we'll go ahead and spray some Future to seal in the decals. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and probably apply a little dirt wash over the entire plane on both the top and bottom, wipe that all down, and then I'll go ahead and, like I say, do a little weathering on it, and we should be finished. So and like I said, of course, right now, as you can see, I have the pilot still covered up there. I want to protect him while I'm doing all this, and of course, then putting in the canopy as well as the armament, and it should be done. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned, because the next episode will be the finale, and we'll catch you later. Till then, have a good day. Bye.